What is up, Viego mains? The patch of Destiny is finally here. I'm gonna have to keep my voice down because my roommates are asleep, and it is about 1 a.m. However, I just needed to make sure that I got this video out for you guys to give you guys my opinion on the buffs and what you're gonna be building and what runes you'll be taking on this new patch. I know there's gonna be a lot of new Viego players interested in playing the champion. First, let's get on into the buffs. So, due to Viego's poor performance after the nerfs, they're going to be buffing his Q a ton. They're going to be increasing the passive on-hit bonus crit damage modifier by 20%, which you guys have to understand is very significant because this is effectively Viego's main source of damage. This is his passive mark on his Q, so it procs on his Q, on his W, you can proc it off of your ultimate, and some other various ways through possessions. It is a very, very significant buff when you consider the crit buffs that Viego already got. They're also increasing the crit scaling on his Q stab, so this is also pretty significant. It is the lesser part of the Q change, but when you consider them both, this alone would be a very, very big buff to Viego. However, in addition to that, they're also buffing his attack speed growth, which is absolutely insane, especially when you consider the fact that Viego full clears and isn't even going to be fighting usually until level 4. So you're going to have 4 additional levels of increased attack speed growth, which is very, very significant. And when you take these buffs together, it is probably going to increase his win rate by 2, maybe even 3%. It is a very, very significant buff. It cannot be understated how big of a deal this is for Viego. Now, he is in a poor state right now, so we'll see if he ends up being S tier, but my opinion on the buffs is they are very, very significant. In addition, let's not forget the fact that Viego is receiving his Exalted skin. Now, I will say this, if you cannot afford the skin, do not buy it. I'm not a big fan of the gacha system. I don't love gacha, but I will tell you that if you just remove the price tag on all the skins in the game, you could make an argument that Revenant Reign Viego is the best skin in the game. That is my opinion. I'm obviously biased, but I am very, very excited to have this skin in the game, and I cannot wait to play it on stream, play it in videos, and see you guys getting the skin as well. Now, quickly, I want to talk about the item build that you're going to be going for Viego. Now, I know in my initial video about Viego, I had suggested Essence Reaver because at the beginning of the season, Essence Reaver came in very strong. It was cheaper than Collector, and it looked like it was going to be his best second item. And for a short period of time, it was, but then it got hotfix nerfed because it was really OP on ADCs, so they ended up nerfing it. And so now we're back to Collector, especially with the crit buffs as they're coming in. Kraken into Collector is going to be the move. Now, you can see in this build, I suggest 2 things. 1, I have non-completed boots here, so I'll explain that in a moment. But I also have IE and Death Stance. Whether you go IE last or Death Stance last just depends on whether you need damage or survivability. But the main thing I want to talk about is the runes. These are the runes I've been running on the current patch, and I think they will continue to be the runes moving forward. Standard Conquer is the best. Some people ask about Last Stand versus Coup de Grace. Honestly, I think it's more preference. I like Last Stand more because I know the limits of Viego really well, so I have a lot of low HP fights that I basically know I can win, even at like 1 HP. A lot of people prefer the consistency of Coup de Grace. That is up to you to decide. I personally prefer Last Stand. Harry Jungle talked about this on Twitter if you follow him, but cashback over magical footwear. Now, cashback will give you about 1,200 gold once you've completed all your legendary items, and it'll give you about 480 gold after your second item. The main thing is that Viego doesn't really care that much about completing boots because a lot of the time you don't even have your boots when you're in other people's possessions. Hitting your crit power spikes on Viego is almost more important than any other champion because Viego's a very snowbally champion and he needs the additional crit with his crit scaling to get anything done. So cashback enables you to snowball a lot harder. And then Triple Tonic is honestly just very overtuned right now. It gives you an extra 60 gold on your first clear. At level 6, it gives you an elixir that can help you turn very important fights once you first get your resets. And then at level 9, you just get a free extra level into your E, which is super nice. I think it ends up being more valuable than Cosmic Insight. At the end of your build, you honestly can just sell your tier 1 boots for something else. From time to time, I will complete my boots after my 4th item, but usually up until 4th item, I just sit on my tier 1 boots, So with that being said, guys, I hope you really enjoy the new patch. I hope you get your skins on the earliest roll possible, and I hope that you guys enjoy Viego with his buffs. I will be streaming every single day, so if you guys want to hop on over to my Twitch and watch me push for Challenger with the new buffs, feel free to follow me there. But until next time, guys, have a great day.